A recent clash between state-set tariffs and Nigeria's electricity policy stems from the Electricity Act of 2023, which decentralized power regulation, allowing states to set their own tariffs. Now, this move has sparked controversy, particularly in Enugu State, where the state electricity regulator reduced tariffs, prompting disagreements with power generation companies and distribution companies. Well, joining me on the show to discuss this is Mr. Idowu Oyebanjo. He's the MD of IDFON Power Engineering. He joins virtually. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah.
All right, let's, of course, start with this. We know that the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission, reduced the tariff for Band A customers from about 209 naira to 160 naira per kilowatt. That's per hour, citing subsidy assumptions. However, this is where the issue is. Power generation companies and distribution companies argue that this reduction is unsustainable without the federal government subsidies. Is there credence to this?
Yeah. So, without having the full details of the tariff methodology, which is the calculation sheet through which EERC, that is the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission, determined their tariff for the subco, that is Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited, that is the additional subsidiary distribution company established in Enugu State following the enactment and signing into law of the Electricity Act 2023 as amended. So you will see that there will be a discussion between the state regulator. They will have spoken, and they did actually speak with MEPL, that is the DISCO equivalent in Enugu State under the Electricity Act. They discussed with them, they submitted their data. It is from this data that they have submitted that what has not been happening in Nigeria since 2013 happened. Checking of data. You remember I was on your station program the other day, I said, data is the most important problem of the nation in terms of power. When you give the states the opportunity, like Enugu State has demonstrated, they have now gone into that thing that is missing, or that is causing us problem, and high tariff. They've gone into it. They have gone to check the data of the DISCO. They have seen some of the things that can be corrected, and they have corrected them. That was what lowered the tariff, and not the issue of cost of generation or wholesale electricity. Let me pause for a while there.
All right. I mean, you sort of set the record straight that this decision was largely data-based as against other speculation. But some would argue that maybe this the Electricity Act actually does empower them to regulate, the electricity market and even set tariffs to a large extent. Even though, but my question to you is this: are there boundaries to the control of state when it comes to the electricity market as a result of this act?
Okay, so the Constitution is supreme to the act. So there is hierarchy. So as far as the Constitution has put electricity regulation of generation, transmission, distribution, and supply within a state as something that is under the oversight of any established state electricity regulatory commission, what that means is that any generation that is from that state, built in the state, any transmission system built within the state, the distribution system that exists within the state and new ones, all of these will be under the purview of the created State Electricity Regulatory Commission. However, because today all the states are still receiving power from the federal electricity market, which we call the national wholesale electricity market. Because they are taking electricity from the national wholesale electricity market, they are bound, according to that same Electricity Act, by the regulations, some of the regulations of the the national wholesale electricity market, especially in terms of generation that is taken from the national electricity market and the transmission system, of course, that we use today, which is also a national asset. So, but to talk about the everything distribution, which is actually inside the state, it is under the purview of the state established electricity regulatory commission. So in short, there is no ambiguity except people want to try to manipulate things. When it comes to the distribution of electricity within a state and the regulation thereof and the tariff, it is the power that has been given to the state regulators that come to play. They will, however, take cognizance of the cost of generating power through the national system as well as transmitting same. And that one is being looked after by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC. So there is federal regulator, there is a state regulator, and the two of them must collaborate, they must cooperate, they must coordinate to make any decentralized electricity market work. They have to cooperate. This cooperation will be in the form of establishing intergovernmental body, which the Act actually asked for to be created, but this was not created. The Act requested that this should be created. It was not created. That's why we're having this problem.
Okay.
If they had created this intergovernmental body as specified in Section 232, subsection 9 of the Electricity Act, this problem will not happen.
Because that would lead me to my next question of the role of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, in all of this. Because using Enugu, for instance, they reminded the EERC that it lacks jurisdiction over generation and transmission, which of course has sparked debate as regards regulatory authorities and their role given this recent development.
So again, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission is NEC, is the federal regulator in a decentralized electricity system like the one Nigeria has started to practice. Hopefully, they will not roll it back by the 2025 amendment they are planning through the back door to roll it back. Hopefully not. However, there is a federal regulator to look after things that connect to the national grid and also things that move electricity supply that moves between states and outside the country. So that's the remit of a federal regulator, in this case, NEC. NEC will look at all grid-connected generations. It will look after the costs and maintenance and everything that has to do with the transmission system. And it will look after everything that has to do with selling power to Togo, the Republic of Benin, Niger, and other places. However, there is also the need to maintain standards, to maintain good policies, to ensure that you don't have regulatory risks. As a result, common sense demands, and to be honest, it's in the Electricity Act, it's clear that the two entities, the state government and the federal regulator, they should set up what I have described before, an intergovernmental body, which will look at all these issues of tariffs, what do we do, policies, standards, so that everything will go on as if we are still having a one, and of course that's what you want, a one and united power family in the country.
All right. Now, still staying on this, one issue that seems to have also come up in the course of all of this is the need to attract investment into the sector and also interventions. I mean, part of the call over time is interventions through, monies and investment from the government, and also the need to upgrade some of the infrastructure which many of the private investors there consider obsolete. So looking at what we have on ground with these laws, rules, and regulations, and what the Electricity Act says, I mean, as a business owner and those that are already in the space, how do they stay afloat in terms of attracting the right amount of investment to upgrade and to be able to deliver quality service?
The very first thing that investors will be looking for is lack of regulatory capture. So lack of regulatory capture means that the state regulators and the federal regulators, they must not have clashes like this. They have to be resolved. That was why this act preempted this and put this intergovernmental body that failure of it has caused this problem. That's one. Another thing to be avoided is a situation whereby the regulator is not independent, whether it's federal or state. So if the Minister of Power takes over the role of the national regulator, NEC, and make an announcement about anything relating to the electricity market, the investors who are well trained and who know their onions, they won't come to such a country. If the Ministry of Energy in any state or the Commissioner of Energy in any state decides to speak on a matter of regulatory issues without letting the state ordained or established regulator to speak on them, it will be termed as regulatory capture. That's number one problem. Number two, you need to have clarity of purpose, clarity of objectives, clarity of policies, so that stakeholders, investors will not be confused. Then you need to engage them. So you have to set up stakeholders engagement meeting, invite investors, tell them what you are doing, and make sure there is access. Make sure that it is easy to have access to the network. And related issues that will cause confusion, you must really, really avoid them. And in the case of Nigeria, NEC and the state regulators, they should, as a matter of urgency, set up this intergovernmental body so that they can avoid policy clashes and conflicts like this.
All right, let's talk about what I call it a backlog of debt or debt accumulation, where power generation generators, are collectively owed over about 4 trillion naira, and further debt accumulation could exacerbate this sector's challenges, which of course is biting hard for those who have their monies there and have their businesses there. In terms of the debt management, what do you consider a way out?
Well, the president of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was addressing the delegation from stakeholders recently, he said, I'm going to put my audit cap on, So he also said he will look into the thing properly. So a comprehensive and forensic audit is first. The questions he will be asking, for example, is where are the investments for which tariff have been taken since 2013 in Nigeria, so 12 years. Those ones will claw back that figure seriously from 4 trillion down. He's going to be asking what's the energy that has been supplied and where is it, because we have been in darkness for long. So where is this energy that has been supplied? He's going to also ask where is the assets that the federal government, state government, and local government, the federation in particular, where have they have invested in the distribution company, and also the NDPHC. So they are going to value these assets and say, look, guys, this is the cost that you are also owing me, and a net off will have to take place. And in my opinion, if it's properly done, this will significantly reduce that subsidy.
All right, thank you so much. Let me leave you for a moment, Mr. Ido Oyebanjo, and let's bring Engineer Tasil Gidari-Wudil. Is the principal consultant for GridLink Power and Energy Systems. Thank you for your time. Let me ask you, sir, why have we not, maybe I should just put it as an open question to you. In terms of the power sector in the country, are we really making progress?
Also, I didn't hear that question. Can you repeat it, please?
In terms of power in Nigeria, power generation, distribution, access to electricity, how much of a progress would you say the country is making?
Well, we have made small progress anyway, not as expected, not the progress that everybody is expecting, including even the players themselves. So the progress is very small, and some people say there is no progress. There is. If you look at the deregulation, it has opened up some investments into the power sector, which are not government-owned, private sector. But before, the law did not allow private sector to invest. So those investments in pockets are there, and we have to account for them, because today in Lagos you have places where they generate their own electricity and distribute and sell to estates and all these things, and some people have invested and they have built power plants like Azura, which is not government owned. So there are some little, what they usually call incremental improvements, but they are not the expected improvements that we're expecting from the deregulation.
All right, let's look at some of the concerns quickly of some of the players, by some of the players in the industry. For instance, investors keep complaining that they need to upgrade the infrastructure and that they need funds. We even know that the minister, of that sector said one of the greatest challenge is liquidity. I would like you to speak on that and how you feel this challenge can be surmounted. Is it really viable to go into, that sector, is it viable for an investor at the moment?
Presently, investors have run away from Nigeria. That's the truth about it. The ones that have come in, or the local ones that were able to invest, they took a lot of risk. And some of them do not even need to be there, because their own understanding of the sector is not the correct understanding. The correct understanding is that the sector is a long-term investment sector. It is not like buying and selling. Just get your profit now. No. You have to invest. You have to wait till the investment gets ripe and you start getting the profits. Otherwise, if you say you are going to invest now, you will recover it, there's going to be a serious, what is called rate shock. The people will not be able to pay for that energy. So that investment has to be done, and expectation of the outcome of such investment in terms of profits for the investor is expected to be incremental. So, and it is a long-term investment. So that's what is happening.
All right. Now, talking about, you used the word, you said rate shock, and you made reference to the affordability of electricity itself. Let's talk about the band categorization, which is the thing right now in Nigeria, band A, band B, and others, right? One of the, will I say, concerns of customers within the band A purview, for instance, is the cost of the tariff. Even though we've seen Enugu, drop its own tariff on the band A category, but in terms of affordability, what ways or what alternatives do you think that this can be done? And on the issue of categorization, do you even think it was necessary in the first place?
Well, thankfully, I was a staff of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission when the issue of the band came up. And honestly, I was one of the lone voices against it. It was called service-based tariff. They came to the conclusion that there are people who are ready to pay for 24 hours supply. There are people who are not ready to pay for 24 hours service supply. And they don't mind getting 4 hours, provided the cost is not much. Some they say, no, we need 24 hours and we can afford. So based on that, the tariff classification, which has been there, which is an international standard tariff classification. Mostly tariff classifications are done either they are residential, commercial, industrial, and special. But NEC decided to change it to band. Unfortunately, as I'm talking to you today, NEC has no inkling of the service on band A to the individual customer. The individual customer doesn't, if he is out, they don't know. If he's out, the only thing they monitor is the bulk 33 kV line that supplies that feeder, and they call it band A, and they monitor it. So if today I lost supply from my substation, a small substation in my estate, as band A, nobody knows. And I cannot complain. The distribution companies are not ready to even improve on customer service. They are not improving. They feel they're doing you a favor.
So in situations like this,
classification is a misnomer.
So in situations like this, who should be held to account?
Well, the person who did it.
All right.
The body who did it is responsible for it.
And who's this person, sir?
He's the regulator, of course. And today, if any state regulatory agency wants to change the classification, they are free. They can change the classification. But I challenge anybody in this country to tell me which country uses band. Which country uses band A, B, C, D? If there's anybody, I challenge that person to tell me. There is nowhere. We are the only people who did. In fact, everything about our power sector is unique. The privatization is very unique. The way it was done. The band, what is called service-based tariff, because customers are not getting value for that. And even now, with the band, some people you will lose supply on band A for over 15 hours. And somebody is going to come and use a legal term and tell you that it is force majeure.
All right.
There's nothing you can do.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Gidari-Wudil. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely talk more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. Mr. Idowu Oyebanjo is the MD of IDFON Power Engineering, and also Engineer Tasiu Gidari-Wudil is the Principal Consultant of GridLink Power and Energy Systems. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, just before I let you go, let me come to you, Mr. Oyebanjo. Your final take on this, particularly on the issue of metering. In 30 seconds, how do you think that some of the complaints as regards, access to meters can be resolved in the shortest possible time?
Investment in metering that has to be done. This investment does not have to be fraudulent. It has to be not like the various ones we have had before, CapMy, we paid with the meter, MAP, we don't know what's happening. This is an investment where you need to have the name of every customer, the data of the customer so that you will know who has been given meter or not. In fact, the customer from meter so that no have been given meter or people have already siphoned the money and taken it away. We have so much problem metering, and it can't be done very well until the state regulators take over. There is nothing that can come well from that national system now as it is. You have to let states take the bull by the horn and let them employ on meritocratic ground people who are honest, people who are transparent, and people who know their onions to lead the state electricity market. We have been in this doldrum for too long. It's a shame.
All right, thank you so much. In 30 seconds, what will be your final thought, Engineer Tasiu?
Who's Engineer Dr. Oyebanjo? Federal government or any other government should stop putting money into metering. In tariff setting, every single item of used by the distribution company is accounted for in tariff. If there is going to be a tariff rate shock, then why can't you allow the individual to buy the meter straight, directly from the sellers and incorporate it into, just like you buy telephone, you get SIM. And people will be able to say, okay, I bought meter, this is it, and if it gets bad, I know I'm going to replace it. But all the programs federal government has done is just a way of stealing people's money.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having you on the program this evening. Idowu Ibanjo is the Managing Director of IDFON Power Engineering, and also Engineer Tasiu Gidari-Wudil as a Principal Consultant. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure once again. Thank you for your time.